Hey, good Sunday night, everyone. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey here. We're going to spend some time talking about the high-impact winter storm that is coming our way and talk about what we expect to happen. As a programming note, WCIA 3 News at 10 o'clock is on time tonight. So I'll have a full forecast update there. I hope you'll join me there as well. You can also get the updates right now on the WCIA 3 News and Weather apps. The Weather app in particular has all those extra details, the video, the breakdown, and more as we've watched this system come together. It's been on our radar here. On the forecasting timeline, we saw, hey, it's possible. This past week, we were watching things. As we're progressing down to the list now, we're getting to the point where we're becoming more in that 2 to 3 day outline here, 2 to 3 days out, where we need to start thinking about how we plan and some of those impacts as the timing and impacts are becoming more clear for us here into the region. So we're going to talk more about that. And then once we get through the system and share the graphics that I've got for you, we will talk about questions at the end. A lot of folks checking in, a lot of folks very interested in this. This forecast for the WCIA 3 viewing area, Central Illinois, where we're primarily based out of, but we will talk a little bit about the surrounding region as well here as this forecast pans on through. So we'll watch, we'll keep you updated. Do note, some things to note before we get started though. There will be some areas that see less snow, but more ice. That is the key. If you don't get this higher snow band in your area, you're dealing with freezing rain and ice, and there will be that distinction in our area. We'll have that in the graphics for you. We talk about winter weather. Everyone thinks snow, and rightfully so. Snow is something you can see, but I am concerned about some areas that will see some impacts from potentially significant freezing rain event as well with this, especially given the duration of the event that we have coming through the region. So lots of folks checking in. We're going to talk about it, the setup, the pattern, how things look, and then we'll even talk a little bit about numbers. But our official snowfall forecast will not come till tomorrow night. We'll give you an idea of the range just to put in perspective where we're talking about those numbers at this point. But the snowfall forecast map, exactly how much we're forecasting for which areas will come tomorrow night. I'll leave that up at the front and let you know. Here we go now. It's 9:35. If you're watching this valid for Sunday night and Monday morning. I'm sure we'll have another update Monday afternoon as we're getting closer and closer here. That's something that we want to watch. Let's talk about the impacts. I like to talk about storms more based on impacts. The numbers are very attractive. Everyone wants to know how much snow, but at a certain point between snow and ice, you just get too much, and those impacts are high to very high, and that happens here for us now. This is Tuesday. Tuesday during the day, we are okay. It will be raining. There will not be concerns for wintry weather and ice Tuesday before sunset. Once the sun goes down, then the transition begins. Late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we're starting to see those impacts pick up, particularly in northwestern areas. The highest impacts will come Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday. And they will linger into Thursday night and Friday, depending on how things pan out here. That will be because we're either thawing out or shoveling out, especially on some of those less traveled roads. I think the crews are going to have their hands full here. Let's talk about the system and the setup first. Here we go. This is Tuesday morning. We are dry. You will wake up Tuesday morning. It will not be raining. You will think, oh, they're wrong again. Just wait. It is Tuesday afternoon that the rain begins here with that front coming on through. And this system will pull a lot of Gulf moisture into the region. Some of this rain Tuesday into Tuesday night before the snow arrives could be heavy. I will mention that. We may get at some areas with a couple of inches of rain out of it before the snow arrives, and so that's something to mention. Tuesday evening, we start to see that cold air push in on the backside, and things really start to transition Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. What we'll be watching with that transition is how fast the cold air can punch through the moisture. We expect it to happen, but that will determine how far south and east the snow pushes, and that's going to continue to slowly evolve through the day on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, some of us will start with snow, others still in rain, in between a bit of a wintry mix. But as the day goes Wednesday, that snow band will push to the south and to the east as the cold air continues to fill on in, transitioning from rain to snow. And that will allow that heaviest snow band to settle here somewhere in our viewing area. We think is going to be the case. It's hard to think that it would pivot much further north at this point, but that will be the case Wednesday into Wednesday morning. Some heavy rain and heavy snow lingering into the afternoon and evening here. As we go into Wednesday evening then, the snow will continue. Notice here though, this purple area, that's a wintry mix, a mix of ice and sleet and freezing rain. And that looks to set up somewhere down by Interstate 70. So if you're close to Interstate 70, that's where the ice is probably going to be a bit of a concern and a bit of a challenge to forecast where that fine line is. I-55, I-72, I-74. At this point, I have good confidence that it is a snow event primarily. However, some of that earlier rain may freeze on the roads, and that will lead to some slick spots as the snow falls. And when you have rain before snow, it is very difficult to salt and use pre-treatment on that. You put pre-treatment down, you put salt down, the rain washes it away, then comes the snow and the freezing temperatures, and things can ice up pretty quickly. So that is also a concern, but eventually for most of us, Wednesday morning into the afternoon, it is a solid snow event with some ice and freezing rain down by Interstate 70. Here we go into Wednesday night, round one coming to an end. We'll use the word end very sparingly. More than anything, the heavier snow and rain and freezing rain will relax a little bit. The severity of it will decrease, if that makes sense. But another round fills in late Wednesday night into Thursday early morning here, and that's with this strong area of low pressure. If you caught the Facebook Live last night, you saw the forecast last night and this morning. We weren't quite confident yet which direction that low pressure is going. It's going the stronger northern route by all indications at this point. The jet stream really pulling it along, which will allow for the heavy rain, heavy snow, heavy ice to pick back up into the area. Notice here this purple, for reference point, there's Effingham, there's Mattoon, Charleston, here's Champaign, there's Springfield. This is down by I-70, still dealing with icing, with some snow mixing in, but we've still got snow to the north and west there. As that low passes on by, this is where things can really get in trouble. That stronger northward low would allow for some strong wind gusts. Wednesday, the wind will be a bit breezy out of the north, 10 to 20 miles an hour. But Thursday, starting in the morning and into the afternoon, as that low passes on by, now we're mixing in gusts with that scenario, 30 to 40 miles per hour in there, which will be a concern. Areas that have ice on power lines and trees, that's not a good recipe. Areas with snow, especially some heavier snow, that now allows for blowing and drifting of the snow that has already fallen and is still coming down. There's still heavy snow under this Thursday morning with ice in some parts down by Interstate 70 continuing here. Here we go into Thursday afternoon, now seeing signs that the moisture pulling off to the east, but still dealing with snow tapering off slowly here. And by Thursday evening, Thursday night, the snow will be out of here. We'll be left with the residual impacts Thursday night and Friday. I don't think it's going to be much better by Friday morning out there, though the event will be over for us. We'll be cleaning up, for lack of a better terms there. That's the breakdown for you. Let's talk about a game of odds and where that highest, heaviest snowfall band will fall. This doesn't mean that you yourself at home is going to see this, but we're really thinking we're getting close to the double-digit mark here, 10 inches for the highest snowfall band, if not a little higher than that here. We'll blow 1 to 4 inches out of the water with this. Even 4 to 8 probably will get blown away. That primarily because of the duration of snow. It'll start snowing Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and may not let up in some areas until Thursday afternoon. A good 36 hours of snowfall here. So this helps put in perspective the numbers that we're starting to think here. 8 to 12 inches with locally higher totals, and that may go a little bit up. For specific numbers, those will come with our map, our snowfall forecast map, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. The whole team is having a rendezvous to go over the data, talk about what we think here. But I think regardless of the number, the impacts are still going to be high to very high. That's not going to change. At a certain point, you get enough snow, it causes problems, especially with a blowing wind. So keep that in mind. But from the level of snow we're talking about here, we're on a higher end snowfall total event. The highest 2-day snowfall total event for Champaign-Urbana, take 2 days and add all the snow they got, is 15 inches. There's a lot of 12, 13, 14 inches. We're kind of in that range with this here. To give an idea, the last time we've had a snow event get up above a foot for one event was back in 2013 in Champaign-Urbana. Some of you with connections to the University of Illinois may remember that. It was the day after the spring break for the spring semester in late March. So we got a good 12 to 16 inches in central Illinois. We're kind of talking in that 10 plus in general. The snow amounts will be highest here, I-72, I-55, I-74, and then to the south here, they'll taper off a little bit. Where the exact axis ends up still has some time to wiggle, but it's going to wiggle around in this area here. And at this point, it's hard to say that if you get the snow, let me rephrase that. It's hard to say that if you don't get the snow, the heaviest snow, you'll be okay because we've got the icing problem in the southern edge here. You're watching in Paris, Mattoon, Charleston, Toledo, Greenup, Casey, Effingham, down towards Vandalia, maybe even Shelbyville, some of those areas there. If that's a Mattoon, Charleston, bigger city nearby you, we're going to talk more to you about this. Somewhere down here, there will be an unforgiving cutoff in the snow where we may go from 10 to 15 miles north, has, that double-digit snowfall total, 10 inches plus. You drive 10 to 15 miles south, it's been freezing rain and ice, and that could be a significant amount here. So there will be that sharp cutoff somewhere in this area. I think for Champaign-Urbana, Decatur, Springfield, even Danville, it's a safe bet we'll be in a snow event here and not deal with much ice. A little ice early on and some slick roads, and the snow will continue to rumble through the area. But that concern for freezing rain and impacts really is Effingham, Casey, Greenup, Toledo, maybe as far north as Mattoon and Charleston, where that cutoff comes on in. Some snow lovers down there may be very disappointed, but will be very affected by the ice totals that could play in there. We think over a quarter inch in some spots is a real possibility for quite a substantial icing event in that part of our viewing area. Again, that timing, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, all the way through Thursday afternoon and evening before the moisture exits out through the region. And so we will watch and keep you updated on that. Let's talk about the snow forecast impacts, just general big picture where we're at here. This is not for any particular forecast now, but you look at the numbers and whatnot. When you start getting up to 4 to 8 inches, you start getting some dangerous travel out there, especially if you mix in the wind. And you talk about 8 to 12 inches plus, travel becomes nearly impossible there, especially with blowing and drifting of snow. Keep that in mind if you've got plans Wednesday, especially Thursday, with the wind, and some power outages are likely in the areas that see snow and those wind gusts. The ice side of things, we have some areas with 1/4 to 3/10 of an inch or more here. Numerous outages, ice and power outages are a concern. That, in my mind, is I-70 corridor, south of a line from Paris to Mattoon, Charleston to down towards south of Shelbyville. So that'd be like Effingham, I-70. That's the area where the ice is going to be much more of a problem. If the snow pushes a little further south and east, the ice will push with that. More southern Illinois, south central Indiana, south of I-70. We hope that happens, and then they can join us with the big snowfall totals. If not, and I'm not certain that they're going to get the snow down there, I think it's going to be an ice event along and south of I-70. That's where the problems come on in. We talk about quite an event, especially with those wind gusts coming on Thursday. So that's going to be a bit of a concern for us here. Recap the impacts and timing. Monday, dry. Tuesday, will start dry. It's rain during the day. We are not concerned. Do your homework on Tuesday. Be ready for work on Tuesday. Tuesday night, the transition begins, and then we start seeing those impacts Wednesday into Thursday. And those impacts will increase from northwest to south and east here as the snow and cold air moves on in. Thursday as well, the concern is therefore some blowing snow mixing on in, given the setup and the scenario. You bring that low pressure, but close by, you get some strong winds there on the backside. That's a pretty obvious signal to us. There's a lot of data, a lot of different, what about my town? What about this area? What about that? I've got a lot of graphics, a lot of maps, a lot of information, and I do it day by day for you on the app and on the website as well. Search WCIA3 Weather, App Store for Apple, and the Google Play Store for Android devices. Lots of great data there. You can go through and check that out. I share a lot of those graphics as well on social media, but this is your one-stop shop for all the information that you need here from this event. Let's talk it through again. We're going to look at it another way, as many different ways as we can, and then we'll answer questions here in a few minutes. Precip type Tuesday. Tuesday is rain. We are not concerned during the daytime hours Tuesday. Yes, it will be raining. It will see temperatures fall as the front rolls on through. Some spots Tuesday, though, into the 40s and 50s, which once the temperatures drop below freezing, then Tuesday night, there may be some ice that forms on roads before the snow arrives and settles on in here. That snow to the north of I-72, snow and wintry mix to the south here as that transition continues. We look at the day Wednesday. For many of us, it is snow. I'll use the term wintry mix from Paris to Mattoon, Charleston, to Shelbyville, to Vandalia, including Effingham, Casey, Greenup, and Toledo. But we know that the snow may push a little further south in that area. The wintry mix will be used to describe snow, ice, and freezing rain for those areas there. Wednesday night, still have that area we've got to watch down here where still good snow in Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, Taylorville, Bloomington, Danville. That southern edge here, though, does have the concerns for ice, and it will continue to add up. As we go into Thursday, then, the freezing rain potential, I think, really ramps up with that low passing on by, pulling in just enough warm air aloft to cut down on the snow chances there, bring more of a freezing rain and ice event. But still, it's a snow event for the I-72 corridor, continuing that precip type with the rain, snow, sleet, ice ending Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, but we'll be dealing with the residual impacts here across the region. So that's what we're going to be watching. I do want to mention as well, there's a lot of cold air behind this. This is Wednesday. You can see that freezing line, how it sets up in the southeastern part of our area. There's enough force, enough energy on this cold air pushing to the south and east where I don't see this all of a sudden shifting to the north 150 miles. It may wiggle around, though, 25 to 50 miles still, which would affect those areas down by I-70. But we're getting that cold air in here one way or another, and so it's either snow or freezing rain and ice. That's the concern for us here. As we go through Thursday and Friday, that cold air continues to push to the south, and you saw that little quick blip to the north there. We're still going to be cold Friday and Saturday. Another big look here, winter weather impacts. We're using very vague ideas of snow totals. We're likely 6 inches plus, with 10 inches plus certainly a possibility here. Those snow totals are a big concern. Wind chill values during the event, they'll be below zero at times, single digits. But that not nearly as much of a concern. We've had that before. We've dealt with it. But coupled with the snow, it still is a concern here. Power outage is the highest concern where ice occurs. So if you through the day Wednesday, I'm not seeing much snow, but I'm seeing the ice accumulate. That's where our concern will be. And again, that is down by I-70, down towards the south. But regardless, if it's ice, if it's snow, if it's a combination of both here, we're still expecting dangerous travel by Wednesday p.m. Again, Wednesday morning, a large number of us may wake up and say, where's the snow at? Be patient. Give it time. As that cold air fills on in, it will transition, and that's going to happen for us here into the region as we go Wednesday into Thursday. All right, one last pitch for the app, then we're going to answer any questions you have. I got a lot of questions. I've got lots of messages. I know all of us meteorologists do. You might take a look at the app to see if you can answer some of those questions. There's those maps, those impacts, the descriptions, and more are all there for you. So it's a great way to get more information and keep up to date for the region. So we will watch that and continue to monitor this as we roll on through. All right, I'm going to put this graphic back up here, and I'm going to leave it, and then we're going to look at questions. Remember, we've got the newscast at 10 o'clock, about 9:59 or so is when it starts. We do not have any winter weather advisories or watches or warnings yet. At this point, we're looking at the pattern. Those generally wouldn't come out until tomorrow into tomorrow night at the earliest here. But the signals are all there for quite a bit of a winter storm. I hope I'm wrong, and you can roast me if I am. But at this point, we want to give you a couple of days to prepare for this. Do what you need to, whether that's dust off the shovel, get the snowblower tuned up, maybe grab a few extra groceries and things of that. We want to make sure that folks are aware of this. Not trying to hype it up and scare it, but just trying to say that, hey, we've got a bit of an impactful system coming, especially since we haven't had one yet this winter. This is the first one of the season for us. Lo and behold, we've got to wait till February for it. I think the groundhog, I hope he sees this, whatever it is, to get 6 weeks till spring. We need spring fast here because February will pay for it. The lack of snow that has been this winter. All right, we're going to go through the question and answer things. If you don't have any questions, you want to stick around. Again, the newscast at 9:59. Amelia Henderson will be back in the morning. All of us are meeting then during the middle of the day to bring that official snowfall map. Lots of folks. How much am I getting? We expect a band of very high amounts here. Where exactly, that can still shift 15, 25 miles. But the impacts at this point are all looking the same. And that's where we're driving the forecast from tonight is impact-wise. Dangerous travel likely and power outages are going to be a concern, especially if the wind materializes on Thursday. All right, we're going to scroll back up. Check the comments. There's a lot of messages, and I may miss some. That's okay. We'll answer as many as we can. Michelle asking about Georgetown specific. I think Vermilion County is primarily a snow event. There will be a little bit of ice for all of us. I will mention that. But the highest ice seems to be south of a line from Paris to Mattoon, Charleston to Vandalia, including Effingham. To get that further north to I-72, we'll still have significant impacts if that happens, but I think at this point it's going to be hard to pull it that much farther to the north. Ideally, we'd all be just snow. We don't have to worry about damage to the infrastructure and ice damage that occurs. We just have a nice big snow event, but that's probably not going to be the case for some of our friends down to the south. We've got estimates of numbers. I will say this, these numbers here probably are going to be a little low in some localized areas. I share them to help get your mind thinking away from, oh, half an inch, 1 inch, inch and a half. We're thinking higher in totals here, and I think you'll be, I don't want you to all of a sudden come to the Snowfall map being released tomorrow night and you go, where did this come from? We're thinking bigger numbers here. So that's the key. A lot of questions about, do you think this much or do you think that much? We're thinking higher end with regardless the impacts being the same here across the board. Rain on frozen ground, possible flooding. Travis asking that. Yeah, there could be. That would be down south of Interstate 72. Still some localized impacts. I don't expect any widespread significant flooding. I think we transition enough to either ice or snow, but still that will be a bit of a concern early into the region. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to give us another couple of minutes here trying to explain. They're coming in wanting me to wrap up so they can get the show ready here. We're about 5 minutes out, is that right? Yeah. Okay, I'll be ready here in about a minute and a half. So again, a question down by Carla about down by Effingham. I know Carla is one of our viewers down there. We're thinking down by Effingham will be mainly more of an ice event. If we get more snow, that's great. That lowers the ice totals. The concern is that the snow band, the heaviest, may be a little more north of Effingham, which would put them more into the ice. Another question, Cissna Park, Iroquois County, that's going to be solidly in the snow event. There's a lot of questions. Some people are bringing up the 70s, of course. Kind of scroll on through. Lots of folks checking in. I think a lot of the questions I'm seeing, some of the questions about what type of alerts, we'll get a winter storm watch, I think for sure by tomorrow night, if not early Tuesday morning. The B word, the Dairy Queen snack that you get, if we're thinking that kind of alerts, we'll take that with time. That, though, would not be a concern until we get to Thursday for those types of events, that second round. All right, I got to wrap this up, folks. I wish I could answer more questions. I'm going to go through the comments and look. Check the website. If there's a question I didn't get to, I've got to wrap up for the show here in a couple of minutes. Watch us tonight at WCIA 3 News at 10 o'clock. We'll have updates then, talk more about the impacts and whatnot. But certainly by Wednesday morning into the afternoon, that's when those impacts will increase from northwest to southeast for winter weather. It will rain Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That transition will begin. So be weather aware. Just be, aware of what can happen and stay up with the forecast over the next couple of days. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on WCIA 3 News at 10 o'clock.